Okay, here we go.
How y'all doing today?
Hey. Let's see it.
One more moment.
Hey. Okay, here we go.
Hey,
Here we go.
guys.
Are we here?
Welcome to. Oh, is it? Did it? I don't.
No. Oh, here we go.
Wait. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hey everyone. Welcome to
wait,
Voices
it didn't
of
start.
Men. No.
Okay, what?
What?
Hey. We starting to.
Oh,
there we go.
All right, we got it.
Hey guys. Here we are again.
Welcome to Voices of Men, where we dare to be different. All
and
right?
let's talk.
Let's talk.
Okay. Here we go. Thank you for joining us. I see you coming in. We are on our podcast this evening. Oh my goodness.
Yes, all right.
It was a snow day. So we are ready for this. We have been doing Voices of Men. If you go and replay and if you go and check out some of the things that we have been talking about over the week or a week and a half, it's been exciting. So I'm excited about that. The reason why we talk about Voices of Men, once again, is a proven fact. I believe, the ones I know, that women talk more than men. And yes. I am a firm believer that it's time to hear your voice. I believe that it's time to step up and we can hear you and we can hear your voice. So we had interesting conversations with different pastors, different men, different young men, and different women concerning men. Yes, And so we've been excited about that. Thank you for all those that literally I replayed you on Mr. Hakim's Instagram. We sideways.
Okay, you know what? All right.
I told him we were sideways.
You know what? It's always something. I was trying to figure this out, guys. You know.
But the truth is, you can take your phone and go sideways, so you can see us. There you go. So we're gonna get started. We've been talking about voices of men. I am just a firm believer that it's important for us to hear you. Mm-hmm. And over the time, we were talking about our father relationships. Men as fathers, men as coverings, men as needing to be in society, and that we would love for you to be a part of our lives, and how important our relationships was with our fathers. And we started talking about those who are actually biological fathers and those who are fathers that stepped in to be fathers, and those of us that lost our fathers at an early age. So we talk about voices of men. But I want to give you some, and then we can have Mr. Hakim start. I want to give you some pointers, right? So I was looking at, I was Googling, and of course, Googling is just for information and not revelation. I got that.
So according to Google.
According to Google, women, let's go back up here. It says that women use 20,000 words. Now, I don't know if this is true. I didn't count my words today, and I used less today because it was a snow day and I was home.
You used 20,000 just now.
No, I didn't. So we actually use 20,000 words per day, and men use, now that's a big jump, and that's why I don't like Google and stuff, because they give you all kind of interpretations, and men use 7,000.
That's crazy.
That's big.
Crazy. Y'all got us about 13,000.
Oh, that's a mess. I don't know if that's true. It's true. Now, it may be true if we make a man. Because my husband uses a lot of words when you make a man. Other than when he's preaching now. When God is giving him a revelation, the man is a preaching machine. Like, he preached.
So you think it's more for men or less for men? Or less for women?
Men have more words when they are angry.
Oh, yeah.
Not only do they have more words, but their voice get deeper and louder.
You know, you get that very way. Hey.
What?
Like who you talking to?
Sure enough, that's what happened. So I have to remind myself that I got married late. Like, I was 35 when I got married. So a lot of things I had to undo and learn how to be a wife, because I had to learn some things, y'all. I'm still learning. I promise you, I'm still learning. So I was literally single for 35 years. And so when I came into my marriage, it was challenging. So he got married young. I got married old. So you'll hear very different opinions.
So what do you think that it was easier for you guys to talk in the beginning, or like what's the...
He caught my heart with a smirk, and I promise you he was under tent preaching. He laughed at me. So that's why when when Pastor Eric, which is powerful, so I inbox him. I'm going to inbox him and continue to inbox him because I need him to come on, right? He made some good points yesterday that men are more touchy, than they are more physical than they are words. And I know that if I'm angry, I don't want you to touch me. So, and that maybe I know that. So when I get angry, like, hold up, don't touch me. So we're challenged with some of those things. But when we initially met, he talked a lot more because he was grabbing my heart. So I needed to know where he was coming from.
So he was wooing you, basically, recording you, or what is that?
No, because me and my husband never dated. Sorry, guys. We didn't.
They just went right into the relationship aspect of it.
Listen, I don't want to get it twisted. I don't want to be telling you guys we dated and we did not date. At this time, so I tell young women and women now, like after a certain age, if you heard it last night, I'll say it again. After 35, we should not be going with anybody. If somebody say, oh, he go with me, or he is we should not be going with people at 35.
You remember the folding of the paper you put, do you like me, yes, no, and maybe? What if he handed you that piece of paper?
Listen, I didn't even know they did that with you guys. Y'all. Wait, this is the truth. Back in the day, now we talk about boys and men. This is the honest truth. The behaviors is totally different from women. Back in the day, they'll put on the paper, do you like me, yes or no?
Or maybe.
Or maybe.
I'll take a maybe.
Did we have 3 boxes? I'm not sure. But it was like yes or no, and
So
or maybe.
That's ultimatum.
But we also was in 3rd grade. We were also in third grade.
So was it more chivalry then or now?
What chivalry?
According to you, you don't know what chivalry is?
No, dude. Is that in a relationship term or something?
No, chivalry, like open the doors and,
See, that's why I didn't know. No.
Oh my
so
goodness.
Listen.
What? What?
Oh, he must have looked up that word before he came. Listen, this is the deal. I'm just joking. This is the deal. My husband was very, very polite because he was waiting for God to give me the revelation to say yes, right?
Okay.
So we really did not get an opportunity to date each other. We just knew that, listen, at this point, I'm 35. Now, let me say this, women, on all social media.
She should know this, right? It's not that. Thank you. She should know this.
First of all, he threw that one on me while we live, right? So you have to think about it. Though after I thought about it, I realized. But listen, we don't use that anymore. Listen, just say open the door. But anyway, so the point is this: when we initially got married, no, we were not sure if that's what we were supposed to do. So relationships are really challenging, and that's why I'm constantly telling women we should really, really get to know who we are before we jump into a relationship. That's why when I was talking last night, and some of you guys hit me up and inboxed me, it's the truth. When Adam went into a deep sleep, God took a rib, abstract a rib, and yes, we come out of man, but he brought us back to man whole. He brought us back to you in the body. Matter of fact, not only did he bring us back to you whole, but he brought us back to you living.
Yeah, that's why
talking.
He added a whoa to man. It was like, whoa.
Here we go. Here I am.
Whoa, man.
And so, but they don't say that now. They say, girl. They're like, what's up? So that's a big part of, trying to really establish the voice of the men, because, some of the things that I started to learn and I started to see, especially with teenagers, I wanted my children and my girls to know how I met their dad. And I want him to, like Pastor Cox said a couple of days ago, raise the standard, like raise the bar of who they would want. And not that now, if I tell you that our marriage or our relationship is perfect, that's not true. We have matter of fact, we have our days. Let me say that.
Immune to it, no one's immune to any type of trial or tribulation in relationship.
God knows we're not.
That's just a part of it.
Trials. He put trials and tribulations.
It's the
he
truth,
didn't just say. He said trials and tribulations. But the truth is, when I didn't understand everything, but I knew that God was preparing me for another season, another place, another time. I knew that what I was before, I'm not now. Does that make sense? So yes. I wasn't prepared to be a wife at 20. I wasn't prepared to be, for me, I can't say that for other people. I wasn't prepared to be a wife at 25. Matter of fact, I was so drawn back from relationships, I guess because of the relationships I seen or I interpreted what I saw and not necessarily knew because I didn't live with them.
Basically,
Bad. I found bad and good. I found good until I got to know them and I realized it wasn't as good. So I'm kind of glad that I saw both sides because then I wanted to go into a relationship realistically.
okay, that makes sense. You know, for me, marriage was always a milestone in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew eventually that's something that I wanted to do, and that's something that I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more so getting over we're over the first year, so now it's like, okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a what's next moment. It's not like, okay, we got over the first year, hey, whoop-de-woo. No, it's like, hey, we got over the first year, what's next? Let's do bigger and better. Let's do these things. And I feel as though as a man, there's a lot of things that, you know, goes into that in terms of like, you know, providing, protecting, and things of that nature. So I'm actually happy because a lot of the the rough patches, so to speak, we've been through. Like I can.
It's a year. Did you hear this? For all those who've been listen.
It's still. I'm not saying it's not going to be more.
He said they've been through rough patches.
Patches.
Rough
patches.
Patches.
Plural.
In a year.
So
for all of us, and hats off to all of you guys that made past 16.
Yeah, listen, I'm looking forward to. Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
You know, I'm 52, so
she said marriage is and should be intentional.
Wow, now listen
That's right,
to this.
TT. That's right.
I love that. Now let's go from this point. So you brought up another point. She said marriage should be intentional as well as
wake up every day to wake up and be intentional with your marriage.
And that's facts. That's facts. If you're in a relationship that's not intentional and you're actually working on it together, and hear my heart.
You laughed at me, but I said it had to be two willing participants.
No, that's not. Yes, it does. It has to be two willing participants, but hopefully y'all participated before y'all got back.
No, because think about it again. Like, let's say all the trials you go through, now one person just stops. If you don't have the will to participate, it's no longer intentional. The other person is no longer going at it intentionally.
Yeah, yes, both sides has to go into it intentional. You're married to your best. See what I'm saying? So you married to. Question for you, since you're on. Thank you for joining us. You say you're married to your best friend. So when you talk about marriage to your best, so everybody's relationship is different. That's facts. But I believe that there's things that we can encounter and we could share together to help it grow. And that's why we talk about Voices of Men. Because earlier, I don't know at what point you came on the show, but when we initially started, we talked about how, you know, it would say that women talk 20,000 words a minute and men are 7. But I also understand that we are women. Okay, help me out, women. We are more emotional.
I don't know about that because. Hold
on, just because he cried. Too fast.
No, not even that. No. Yes, I am a crier. Okay, yeah, I'm a crier.
That's all my right. Son. He's a crybaby. But I'm not saying everybody. So when we say our statistics, we are not saying everybody. But I know when we come in, even though you are attached to us, we are built nurturers. That's facts. We nurture. So with our nurturing comes, that's facts. That's Bible. That's facts. Like we are nurturers. And then if what we nurture becomes a monster, we kill it too. So that's what you see. You see.
That's what my mom always told me. I birthed you into this world. I take you out too. Oh, God.
Lord, forgive me.
And I believed it.
But listen, that's fabulous. Now think about it. Even though you married your best friend, so we have somebody on podcast. She said, or he, I'm not sure he or she. You say you married your best friend, but even in marrying your best friend, Liam. Okay, so hasn't it been to the point where there was still some differences, even though you were best friends? Were there still at times where, as a best friend, who talks more in your marriage? Let me ask that.
I mean, but your best friend is really your only person that you talk to the most. So my wife.
She said that's why they speak.
My wife would tell you, I talk to her a lot, whereas, well, I talk to you, but she'll know that I talk to her a lot about everything, literally everything.
Because you got a lot of ground to catch up. That's different.
Well, not even, but it's the ground, and at the same time, that's the person I feel the most comfortable talking to about my problems, because one, she sees them, and two, we're going through this marriage together. So I definitely could understand the whole best friend, talking to your best friend. Anybody who has a best friend know that you talk to your best friend all the time.
Oh, that's cute. He said 20,000 words. She got that down for breakfast, but I love her to bits. That's true. And it says, we got differences.
For those who can't see for the podcast interaction, it says 20,000 words. She got that down by breakfast. But I love her to bits. Yeah, we got differences, but I'd be worried if we didn't. Right? That makes sense.
So listen, then we have somebody else here. I love this, guys. I love this.
Thank
we have another question.
Guys.
It says, as a widow for 25 years, we've been married for 15 years before I had a moment that every vow, and then I'm going to go on here so I can see the rest of it, that every vow was agreed upon it and came to pass, standing before God. And so let me ask you this. So the reality is, yes, so me too, like when I got married to my husband, we didn't know each other. So you have relationships where people know each other for years, and then you have relationships where people don't know each other for years. I found my husband to talk to me more before we got married, and I guess he got so comfortable with who we are and where we are that he's laid back more, that he don't talk as much. I guess because I talk too much.
It's the beginning phase. The man in any species of animals or anything, we have to either be bigger. We have to be. We have to dress appropriately. Whereas the woman, she doesn't have to. In most cultures, or the men do dances in different cultures to in the middle of a crowd to say, "Oh, he's the most elegant."
But that's all. That's what goes back to what we were saying last night. Men are more touchy, and women are more vocal. Like, we are more prone, think about it, women, we are more prone to show how we feeling even if we shut down. So if I'm angry with my husband, he knows, because I'll stop talking. Because that's one of my traits. I'm a talker. So if I stop talking, he's like, something's wrong. Right? And 9 times out of 10, he knows something wrong.
That's true. TT says... And sometimes because we are together, we think our partners are mind readers. Oh, she said no, he figured you out.
No, so seriously, the reason why it's so important, because, it's not that...
She says after marriage. But figure after marriage.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure if my husband knew what he was saying yes to when God told him to find me, he probably would have ran for days, because I promise you, I know this man saying, who in the world did you give me? Like, who did I find? Where was she hiding? Like, what in the world? So I know
it works both ways.
But I noticed that the older I get, and like my husband is not a talker. He is not a talker. So I start laughing because people will say, didn't Pastor tell you such, or didn't so-and-so? I'm like, no, he didn't. And he done told me all the story. He didn't tell anything. That's just who he is. And he'll say to me, Audrey, I tell you on a need-to-know basis, that's how I protect you. That's how I cover you. But the other side of that is, how do I become your helpmate? Because now you go from 0 to 10, and if you know me, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he go from 0 to 10.
Well, I figure I can only speak for myself.
If she's not talking something up, yes.
So it's like, as a man, it goes, okay, if it's really important enough, that's when I need your help at that point, because I'm supposed to be the foundation. So if I'm out here always with the trouble, I'm always with the trouble. How can I cover you from anything if I let everything
don't be
get
my
through?
Foundation. We gonna fall. Please don't.
Why you?
He said, "Why you get right?"
No, but
I'm your helpmate. She's your helpmate.
Right. So
don't be. So I said, right. Don't be the foundation, please, y'all. Don't be the foundation. We want a solid rock. Don't be the solid. Like, listen. I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna be. I need you to be My help. I want to be your helpmate. Covering. You're my covering. I want you to be a great covering. That's what I want you to be.
You know what? There's no argument there. I can't with you.
Because one of the things that I'm starting to learn, right? So I like this because he just got married a year ago. I've been married for almost 17 years. 16 years, almost 17. Almost 17 years.
You do it based on Jonathan, right? See?
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. So there is, yes, thank you, Malika. I just didn't want to.
You know what? I'll take that.
I'll
take it. If God is
that's what happened to work for us.
I'll take that. I'm not saying, I wasn't saying it in that sense. I was just saying it as, hey.
Oh, thank you. You sure can give a shout out to her. Oh my goodness, I love it. See, that's romantic. Can you give a shout out? Please give a shout out to Louisa. Yes. Yes. Ooh.
Liam loves you, Louisa.
See, that's and he's gonna love you even more after this broadcast. When you see what he's saying about you, oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. But see, the other thing is, that's why we tell people it's so important when you go into relationships, right? Because it's two people coming together to be one. There's two whole people, hopefully. So if you go in as half, they're gonna walk all over you. It should be two whole people coming in together as one, and we operate as one, and we intentionally.
Because if it's intentional, if I come in,
hey, I better tell my baby to get on this line because it's gonna be intentional.
If I come in as 50 and you are 100, you can help build me to be 100 as well. I can only go by my example. I wasn't all there. My wife helped me to be a better person. So I feel as though it can work that way. If I came in intentionally wanting to do better, wanting to be better. And she was already, hey, I'm 100 here. I'm going to help you become 100. It can work that way if there's two intentional people. If we're both going to it, like we want to be better.
Somebody okay, you said that's right. Okay. Let's look at this. Oh, hey, Pastor, hold on. Pastor, I am going to, this man of God, I am going to. Are you available so that we can bring you in, Pastor? Here go Pastor Eric. You got to hear what he said last night. Are you available to come in? I know he hear me. I just don't want to click him to come on camera before I ask him that because I don't know actually what he's doing.
Thank you, TT. You can see that.
Listen, this is the thing. When two people come together as one and we are intentional in what we are doing and we're intentional with the same purpose and the same plan moving forward. When I say that, I want to say this without
but you gotta say what's on your
I don't want to say this with being offensive.
Oh
man. But when I'm talking about for me, I want to be careful what I say because I'm still married, y'all. And I told my husband, let's talk. It's going to be open so that we can be. I like to be transparent. I like to be transparent because you don't know who actually is hearing and listening and need to hear what you are going through. So I like to be transparent. And I like to be transparent because it's really important that we understand what it is that we're going into. And a lot of people go into covenant. A lot of people go into marriage. A lot of people go into things not knowing what they're committed to or not knowing. So that's why when you go into something that you don't know that you're committed to, it's so easy to walk away. And you can't, it's so easy to walk away. So now, hear my heart. I'm not saying that he should be knocking you upside your head. He should be giving you a black eye because I promise you, I'll come and help you fight him in Jesus' name. And after we beat him up, give him the plan of salvation all at the same time. But at the same time, you have to know young women or women, period, or those who want to be remarried or those married or those who had lost their spouses and you're going into this again. You have to go in and know that I can intentionally go in and be intentional in a relationship that I know that is for me, that I'm committed to, and that both of us are going to be committed to it. And one of the things I realized with me is when I know that I married my husband, when I said yes, when he asked, and I knew it was God, I also knew that if I ran into an issue or if I ran into a problem, I could always go back to God and say, now you told me, he said that he would love me like you love the church and now how you love the church. So my challenge was I knew who I was going into the marriage, but I also know I had to be committed, because now I would not lie to you and say there was not days that I put one child on this leg, one child on this leg, and one on the hip, and say I'm out of here. And I remember that day my husband said, I'm going to call your mother. You can't take my kids, and so we had our issues. So even though I'm married, and you see, we cover one another, you would not know it unless you live in our home, and even our children don't know, because we don't make it a outlet to say, okay, I'm arguing in front of my children. We always committed to ourselves, no matter how bad it get, that my child would not hear me tear down my husband, or my child would not hear me do a crossword. They would know that he is my covering, he is the man of God, and I trust God who placed me in this marriage. And so when he placed me in there, I can trust that that's what was going to happen. So I wasn't afraid to say yes, or afraid to stay in the marriage. Now, I'm not saying everybody is there, because everybody's marriage is different. That's why we wanted to hear the voices of men, because a lot of times, because you're not vocal, we automatically tell you what you did, and because you won't say, oh, I didn't, or I did.
He wants to know, Liam wants to know, how did he propose to you?
Oh, Leah. Okay, I'm here looking at you. Pastor, I would love if you could give me a heads up, if I could bring you on the camera, because I could hit you in so you could talk a little bit, but I'm not sure where you're at, that you had the time to do that. But where did we meet? We actually, we met at church. So if you join our Voices to Men, go to our, what is that? YouTube channel. You will actually hear me and my husband's testimony about how we met. Now, mind you, my husband is the baby of 11, so we have podcasts.
Sorry, guys, we're going back and forth from Instagram to podcast, Facebook.
And Facebook. So my husband, we didn't know each other. He's the baby of 11, and I am next to the baby of 9. He was under the tent preaching, and I was singing just before he went. And so we actually met in church. Like, we didn't know each other. And then 6 months later, we literally got married. So you got to read our book, and you got to listen to us. You got to go listen to it. It's absolutely, I can't just say. Now, do we have our struggles in spite of? Because I can't say just because we're Christians that we are 100%. No, I tell people all the time, we have our struggles, right? No worries, Pastor. But we can still see your
comments.
We can still see your comments. So we appreciate you. But I also, next time I'm going to inbox you, because we could also bring you on the podcast, so we don't have to see you, but we can actually hear you. Because I'm going to tell you, I went back and listened to, and I'm going to finish, Liam. I literally went back and listened to the podcast last night, and I read your comments, and I read it. It helped me 100%. So even when you think you know the Bible, or even when you think you know what it's saying, it really behooves us to open up to hear others' opinions about what's happening, or where you are, and who you are, because that for me blew my mind. So I did go back and read your comments, by the way. So it was excellent. But on my podcast, we literally have where you could plug in, and we don't have to physically see you. You can just use your earpiece and just in and out, and you can mute yourself, so we don't necessarily have to be. But we appreciate you being on here and your comments, because I screenshot them and sent it to somebody. We started laughing because it was powerful. But one of the things that I started to realize, about my husband, because he's not a talker, and because he doesn't talk a lot, and if you ever hear him preach, he preach. Yes, he is a preacher. Yes, he does. But the issue was, I didn't realize what was happening to him until after there was explosion, or after there was something that happened. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so we would run into an instant, something that I would hear like, well, we did that last year. So I understood that when I did it last year, it bothered you. So why didn't you say last year it bothered you, so I wouldn't say it this year? So because men are not vocal, and because they don't talk, I don't really know what I did unless you say, because I'm slow. I tell people all the time, I'm a little bit slow, just to tap it. And I'm the type of person, because I like you a lot. I'm serious, just as slow. Because I like you a lot. You got to tell me you're mad at me. You have to. You have to tell me you're mad at me. I don't know that you're mad at me. You literally have to say Audrey or First Lady or Sister Audrey or Aunt Audrey. I just didn't like what you did because I'm really slow. I would do something.
Sorry not to cut you off. Thank you, Liam. Please subscribe. Thank you. Anytime
Thank you.
want to
Thank
hop
you.
in, come back in.
Thank you. So this is my issue. So I didn't really, know. So when I don't hear a man, we're different from women. Well, women will let you know I am mad. They would roll their eyes. They would do cartwheels and say, "Who are you?" And you would know that they're mad because we start throwing stuff. My poor husband. But so there's some kind of body language or language to let you know.
Yes, it is.
That that we are that
Open
there is.
communication is key.
But a man does not. Good night.
Liam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A man does not conversate, or they're not as vocal. I can't say every man. I'm just saying it's not as vocal. Or if you're vocal, I feel like you're saying you hear me just to shut me up. Say, like, I heard you.
Yes, Jay,
Okay,
that
here we
is
go.
true. I have a comment for those who can't see. It says, men do not know how to speak their feelings. And I do believe it is the fault of our fathers' fathers. And this is true because this goes back to what I was saying when we were talking about conditioning and actually, being when it trickles down to generations into the generation. So if I tell my son, we don't talk about it, we don't cry, we don't open up, we don't do this, and it makes you look weak, and then so forth and so on, and there's repercussions to crying and opening up and talking about your feelings, then it goes down, trickles down, and trickles down.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's always going to be that way. It's never going to end until that one day someone breaks the cycle. Like, listen, you just need to talk. You just need to cry. You just need to do this. And you finally let it out. And you see, like, wow.
Right.
So
who is this? Lady Karen. So true. And listen to this. So true, Lady Karen. One of the things that and the reason why I'm talking more.
I just like to hear your voice. Say that.
It's okay not to be okay. Yeah, you know what? And it took me a long time, Liam, to understand it's okay not to be okay.
That is true.
And the reality is I needed to know it was okay not to be okay so I can get okay.
But do you notice, though, when somebody asks you, are you okay? Your first instinct is, I'm okay. And it's like you closed off. And it's even,
that's good.
So just imagine as, again, when as a man, you're conditioned to be like, yo, no, you're okay, you're fine.
Right.
Like, you think about it, a little boy falls on the floor. All right, well, you better not cry. I've caught myself doing it. Right. So, because that's what I was told. Listen, you fall, you hurt yourself. It's a temporary pain. You better not cry. You'll be okay. And it's for everything, though. It's for everything. Oh, no, you'll be okay. So now you're like, oh, you fall? You okay? Right. I'm okay, even though that scrape really hurts your knee.
But see, that's another reason, too, because you got to realize... Another thing with me is when I knew my dad was married to my mom. I knew love was communicated. Mm-hmm. Like I knew it was talked about. But when I wanted to see it, right? Yeah, I see your wife is with us now, and that's beautiful. Thank you for joining us, Lady Karen. One of the things I started to realize is that when my dad died, he was 21, and even though he was sick and there was things that was happening, he died young. He died 51, and I was 21 when he passed away. And because he was sickly, I didn't really get to see the communication with him and my mom, but I knew they had something because they had 9 kids. So to really understand how a marriage worked, I didn't see it and I didn't understand it, so I was challenged. Okay?
They're dropping gems on us. They said, Malika starts saying, hold on, I'm sorry. She says,
I got older, so I'm wearing glasses. Guys.
In order to communicate, you have to trust your spouse has your best interest at heart. She goes also to say, because if I tell you you're different, you are able to help. And then TT goes on to say, it's not weak for a man to not be okay. That's why we are your help, or the helpmeet. It's a defense mechanism.
So one of the things, let me ask this question then, men. At what point do you find yourself okay without your wife or your spouse or whoever getting angry? Is it okay for you to express yourself? And so that we can understand that you hear us. Because if you don't verbally say it and I don't see the physical change, then I need to hear. Like I know my husband will say to me, "Babe, I'm sorry I made you mad," and then the next night he'll make me mad. So it was almost like, okay, are you sorry you made me mad, or are you just sorry for that instant that you made me mad? And so one of the things I do understand is that I do it on purpose because now I'm interested in finding out what is it that causes you not to communicate with me now that we get older. Because one of the things that I try to tell my husband a lot is when we initially got married, Liam, this is what happened to us. When we initially got married, everything was ministry, children, work, business, and all that stuff. So we really never had time for us. And my fear was, if I don't get to talking to this man now, what will we have to talk about to grow old together? Because now we don't have our children to talk about. They're gone. Now in the ministry, everything is virtual, right? So we spend more time now than ever. And then we had the schools and the business, and now he's teaching. So it wasn't that time to say, oh, okay, because now it goes back to what Sister Latoya said. Now I have to be intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot of great feedback. I do appreciate you guys who are commenting and giving us your feedback. Well, Cuz told me I didn't read hers appropriately, but she said,
sorry, what she say?
She said, when you show weakness, people think you are soft. Then it says society made it that way. But again, because now, again, remember we was talking about it for those who haven't got a chance to go back to our first podcast, we talked about that. Society does put us in these categories to whereas as men, it's just not, it doesn't look appropriate, it doesn't look manly. You got to think about a lot of posters from back in the days. The version of manly is this strong, muscular guy who could do all these physical activities, has the physical attributes, and looks the part. That's why a lot of us, not for nothing, even as athletes, we look at it as, okay, I got to be the biggest, I got to be the fastest, I got to be this.
Okay.
And then a lot of times it's okay, I'm going to go do that.
Gotcha.
A lot of it is physical, so they're like, I'm going to go do this. You see it at all. Most men, if you're not manly, if you can't be handy, or you're not manly,
yes,
if you can't do a lot of these,
So we have Minister
physical activities.
Claudette, she said, is it okay to express yourself, but did you get the revelation of the challenge? And does the behavior change? Did I get the revelation of the challenge? No, because I didn't know I was being challenged. But I will say this. Did the behavior change? I hope you're talking about this part. Did the behavior change when he says sorry?
Yes,
the behavior changed for that specific thing, but then there's something else that would come up.
But
so
I feel like it's
not
life.
this.
I feel like it's always going to be something.
No, I get what she's saying though, because
is there a day? I mean, there's probably I won't even say it that way. There are multiple times during the week in which you get upset with your spouse.
Yeah, there's a twofold to this question. So I'm trying to get where she's saying that it's okay to express yourself. Did you get the revelation of the challenge, and does the behavior change? Interesting enough.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Can I get? Let me give you an example of what happened to me, and you can let me know. Because listen, once again, I don't know everything, but I will say this. I am not the same Audrey that I was when we initially got married, right? So there's some development, there's some changes, there's some things that took place. And I'm a person that expressed myself, and the Lord really would have to give me certain things to say, hey, don't say that, or do this, or don't do that. So for me, I'm growing in it. I'm growing in this relationship. I'm growing, that my conviction level has changed. But I started to realize that, I would express myself when I was angry. And I know that's not always good, because when I express myself when I'm angry, at that point, a lot of stuff had already piled up. And I didn't want to be just this churchgoer and I had a church face. I really wanted to walk this thing out. I really knew that, hey, you put me in this marriage. I love my husband. I love my family. Now you have to help me adjust to what was new for me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, because
I hope that kind of help a little bit.
Liam says, he said, I suffered a lot and where I was headed for a while. But the last few years, I opened up with a lot of help of my family and gone on to meet a woman who has genuinely saved my life and given me 2 beautiful children who we both now live for. The moral of the story is open up, guys.
Hey, voices of men. I love you, Liam. Man.
Jay says,
love it.
Jay says, men don't know how to express our emotions and it frustrates us, so that's why we turn to our wives. Again, that's part of being the helpmate is what we're talking about. Again, it's still some form of communication that is still needed. I'm not saying that I have the science down to a science, but my wife will tell you that I do talk, and when I talk about our issues or whatever we have going on, I do tend to list. And because I think that's what happens when we list the things that bother us, it becomes, well, now all of a sudden you have this whole list.
But that's what I'm saying.
And now it bothers you as a woman.
But if you talk when it happens, so listen, you grow in this thing. I don't think that everybody's gonna just open up and just say, "Oh, you want me to talk? You want me to talk?" Because we'll go to the extreme, like, "Oh, you want me to talk? You don't want me to talk? I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything from the first day." We don't want that to happen. When I talk about I want to hear a man's voice and let's talk, I'm talking about a voice of influence. I'm talking about a voice that can speak in things into the woman that as your helpmate and your covering. That's what I'm talking about. Although I want to hear your voice, meaning that open up, tell me what we can do together or what we grow in, so I know that you're okay. I don't want a ticking bomb as a covering, because I don't know if you're gonna bomb out on me. And that's why so many things happening over the news. If you read it, God forbid, a husband, you'll read a spouse end up killing their wives, or a wife end up killing their husband. Then you wonder what happened, and they've been living together and married for years, or a wife or a husband been with somebody for 10 years and they decided, or 20 years, they decided, I'm going to walk out. What makes you walk out after 30 years? Now, who wants you after 30 years? She don't know you more. It's going to take another 30 years for me to get to know you. So, it's a big thing when you're talking about relationships. And men, I want to hear your voice of influence. I want to hear what you're saying or what you can do to grow me, or that you can protect me, that you can cover me, and that I don't have to be afraid of you.
But I feel like even with the word aspect,
okay, here we go.
I feel like even when we do talk, it's more of you want to see action behind it. I mean, that's with anything or anyone. So even when we open up, it's like as a man, if I'm not putting in the work or I'm not doing the actual action, it's not something that you really want to hear either still.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, I want to really call you Doc, but I know she is so humble, but she's the nicest person I ever met. Rashonda says, she says, and it's great.
Oh, they can see me drinking over there too.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, Minister Claude, I love that. Okay. Oh my goodness. So for those on Facebook, I hope you see in the comments. I'm excited. Yes, I got it. Yes, and that's really important. We're gonna read that too. But she says, I think it's more important that we as individuals choose to do it regardless of whether the other changes. We set the tone by the way we choose to respond. Unfortunately, many times we react out of anger, fear, and the attitude, you are not going to disrespect me. That is so, oh my goodness.
That was great.
That is so true. I never forget. Now listen, my husband's going to say, you are just putting us on the spot, Bombshell. Listen, one day I never forget, because now mind you, me and my husband just got married 6 months later. We're getting to know each other. We still learning each other, right? And somebody's saying, after 16 years, you should know him, right? So literally we were in a car, and we were driving, and I don't know what we were talking about, but I know I got upset. And then I said, he said, Audrey, he said, don't act, he said,
true.
He didn't say don't act like, he must have said something like, don't something like an idiot or something. I said, you calling me an idiot? He said, I did not call you an idiot. I said, you a seaweed, I'm an idiot. And I started screaming. I should have known I was pregnant with Hannah. But my emotions went to the left. So I said, this poor man probably saying I never talk, because every time I talk, your interpretation of what I said was off the wall. So it's true. I started to realize, it's my choice on how I'm going to communicate, to him. And I started to realize the more I think about how I'm going to respond, even when I'm upset, we have changed.
Jay said,
we have
hashtag blunts.
He's saying there's a blunt. It's all started coming after me after I had kids. Yes, yes.
I feel like
When I said behavior change, okay, when I said behavior change, I mean, did he start questioning himself before they act? It's sex for men to show his feeling. Girl, you know it's true. I ain't mean to call you girl minister. You know it's true.
Well,
see, that's the whole thing.
You know, that
so
conversation went
I don't think children are on this feed. I pray not. Let's see. My children are not. So that's true. That's true. A lot of times when we are going through things with things, it does. It ends up okay. You know, I even throw out the scripture like, you better be glad the Bible said, don't withhold my body from you. Because it's true. Men is like, okay, we're over it. Let's have sex. Let's move on. Let's be intimate. And I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. And then I got to realize that, you know, I have to choose to be.
Now,
we just have to be careful. Like, I don't mind talking about being intimate. You know, I just try to be careful because we got some single people on the line. I don't want them to say first lady. So this is why we end up over there. I think you should be married before being intimate. But that's, you know, that's how I feel. For me, so I ain't going to go there because some of y'all might start shutting down.
Look, I'm getting yelled at. Hakeem, we need to hear from you. I mean, she already used her 20,000 words. I
used them all. Go ahead.
What would you do?
Gotcha.
No, we did talk about that. That's when Pastor Eric Williams, that's his name, right? Correct. Mm-hmm. Okay. He said that we touch that's what I went back on and said. It is that way. It's because women are feistier. And you're harsher with the words because you use words more often, so you're harsher with the words. I don't want to necessarily go into
Y'all
the fire.
trying to make me be quiet.
I don't want to necessarily walk into the fire. I don't know any man who wants to walk into the fire. I'd rather wait till it dies down. And normally the time it dies down is when we're being intimate of some sort.
So, Minister Charlotte, the reason why I try to separate two different things, and we know that now people are liberal, right? Like, so I believe, and I know in today's society it doesn't work, Lika. That, you know, I believe that, you know, we should not have sex before marriage. The reality is a lot of people are.
They want to test drive. A lot of people want to test drive before they know what they're going to get into.
He was almost about to make me say, Jesus. He was about to make me say something. Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry.
He threw me, Malika. You know he did.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying that's
so when I talk about in relationship being intimate, I just believe that if us as women, if we held off that part.
Not everyone does it the biblical way. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just saying.
That's why I said it, because a lot of people, you know, they want to listen. Why, if they don't feel it, they don't feel a spark. They're like, hey, why put myself in this position? If I don't feel a spark.
First of all, if your spark is because you got to be intimate, run from him already, because I'm sure there's somebody else that could be better. So don't go there. That's what I'm trying to tell you, women.
Always
you want to make sure. Don't let them test nothing. You don't need to
it's women too. Women
I'm just
too.
saying.
Hold on,
I can only talk to women. I can't talk to men.
Women too.
I'm just saying you might want to wait.
Women want to put the keys and drive off the lot too and see how they like it before they buy.
You said that's true. I like you, Mr. Pastor. You know what? One of the things, and once again, we talked about this last night. I get that touching is a part of, you know, what we do. I get that. I hear my heart. I really get that. I just want to know why. I just want to know why, because I think sometimes because men know that, they use that to tear the one. Like if I know I'm already insecure and you go, baby, you look good. And man, you look good.
But then if we don't,
so I'm gonna fall for it.
But if we don't,
because of my insecurities. So
but if we don't do it,
listen.
But men are insecure.
Pastor, I promise you, true story.
Hold on, I need a man on here. Any man on here, let me know.
I'm walking across the street now. I'm not saying now, Pastor. I promise you guys, I used to be cute. Okay, that's why I told my kids. Anytime you look at me, anytime you say something, I'm gonna knock you out because this body got this way because of you. But on another note,
I can't go into it, Jay. I can't go into it.
Oh, no, Jay. Here we go, baby. Juice man, we
terrible.
But listen, right? It was horrible because I'm walking across the street now. I used to be cute then. Used to wear my hair in a bob. I think it was orange at the time. Oh, yeah. Now I'm walking across the street and this guy go, now mind you, I'm 52. So I had to be like 22, 23. He go, psst, psst. Oh my goodness, I hate that.
He hissing at you?
Oh my goodness. I was walking across George Street, he go, psst.
I never do that like that.
And so I kept walking, right? And because
he said, what's up, Mom?
no, he said, this is what he said. You think you all of that with your light-skinned, bleach head contact wearing? I don't even wear contacts, man. This is my color eyes.
Oh.
He went bananas. Now I can't see. Now I got. He said, true story. He started screaming. He said, you think you all of that with your light-skinned, bleach head, blonde? I mean, I was like,
so you ain't give him the time of day.
I said, you just saying that because I ain't talked to you. Then I ran.
Oh my God.
True story. Then I was like, oh wait, people are crazy. So because I didn't, first of all,
she
women.
Said you was on George Street.
Girl, I was on George Street walking to my job. I used to work on George Street, not stand on George Street. There's a difference. I was not on commercial. I was on George Street. I was not on Commercial Avenue. I was on George Street.
So no,
that is the big difference.
I do. If there are any men on here, I do need to know because I keep hearing women are more insecure than men. I know there are men that have a time where they have been insecure. I have been insecure. Obviously, I mean, we just handle ours differently. You know, whereas a woman may handle hers different. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a woman, but I know for a fact I would be like, all right, who that? What's going on? Well, I might not say nothing. I just give you a face. Like, if I see now, if a man comes and hugs, and you ain't say nothing to me about it, in my bag. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I don't have to worry about that because my wife would be like, hey, you know, that's so and so. I met him and so and so from so and so, whatever.
First of all, if a man come and go to your street, I was like, what's the matter? You got like, what's the matter?
What's up?
Somebody told me to stop doing that because that's imitating people with a disability. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
You talking about
But the whole...
I didn't know. That's just a head nod. What's not true? Hold on.
Yeah.
What's not true, Malika?
That...
All right, men are... Well, so tell me why, Jay. That's my cousin, Jay. Tell me why, Jay.
That's a man. The man getting ready to answer.
What happens with insecurity? I do believe that. I do believe that men are more insecure at times.
You think men are more insecure?
I do. You got to think about it. What we have to put on... Think about it. A small guy, big truck. He's compensating for something. Me, I'm skinny. I'm hilarious, though. No, just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, if you are more insecure, you just sure don't show.
Who, me?
The men don't show it.
It's not easy for us. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing for us to show. It's not an easy thing. If we show we're insecure, it's a sign of weakness. You prey on the weak. You prey on the weak.
Ooh, jeez, I'm trying to cover my tongue. I'm trying to cover my tongue. I'm trying to be quiet.
What
Go ahead, man. I just want to hear the man.
I'm waiting for him. He said... Oh, he said, why question everything? Why we question everything our women do sometimes.
Oh, okay. Okay, Pastor said, men are very insecure. That's why we focus on things we are. And that's why
I finish reading and you just stopped right in the middle.
That we are good at. That he said that you focus on things that you are good at. But see, I think as a woman, like I really find myself more complimenting my husband because it's truth. I think that when you nurture someone that I think some men don't hear enough that we thank God for you or you're a good man. And in spite of the flaws, in spite of, our ups and downs, I can really say that I can't imagine myself living without my husband. I can't imagine.
But you shouldn't be able to.
I tried sometimes, I ain't gonna lie. But I'm just saying, I cannot now imagine.
She said sometimes
I can't imagine. Let me tell you something.
So you sat there and was like this. Excellent.
Uh-oh. She said, what are you good at?
Oh.
Okay. Wait, y'all know my glasses be catching things at the last minute.
That's right. when you get married, you're gonna be lit, but you can't get married until I tell you can. So that's just all I'm gonna say.
Well, Minister Claudette, I kind of know Pastor Eric very well, and listen, if you ever go hear his message, the man of God has revelations out of this world. That's why I think you should listen to the podcast before that if you follow us. Now, this is a punch-in. I really would love for you guys to go look at the other couple of YouTube channels that we've put up. I'm talking about the same thing. I think you'll love it.
It's also okay. So Malika says, should we as women be teaching our husbands how to be men? No, we're not teaching. I don't.
Honey,
think you should,
I couldn't teach him how to be a man.
I don't think. It's like I can't teach you how to be a woman. You know what I mean? So I don't think that that's something that happens. Again, because of the way we were conditioned, you got to teach us how to love you, and that's something that you may not know for yourself, but we don't know. We're learning that too. It's hard to say, hey, you know, that's just my opinion. I just really do feel like you got to teach us how to love you, and it makes it easier for us to be able to communicate. Because if you sitting there and expect me to just know all of this stuff, it doesn't make it easy for either one of us.
I know I can't teach my husband how to be a man. Neither can I say his example. You better go ahead, Lady K.
What happened?
She's okay, Lady K. I will. Is there to be different at YouTube? Is there to be different voices of men? Let's talk. Lady K, you about to make me holler across my. She said my husband is great, my protector, my provider, my giver, my friend, my preacher. He just doesn't talk much, and that's again one of the issues. There you go. That's a prime example of what Lady Karen just did. So one of the things that I think that we don't do enough of as women is encouraging our husband and building them up. I remember when my husband, the Lord had to revelate to me and say, listen, he's not only your husband, he's your covering, he's your pastor, so I can't say that he was all of those things when I initially met him. I had to grow to learn that. The difference with me is I was independent. I was 35. I was on my own, right? And I didn't know how to trust because I was working, I was paying my rent, I was living on my own. I was 35, so I didn't know how to let go of control. And I didn't know how to let go of allowing him to be something that God wanted him to be to me. And then when he wasn't, I got angry. The problem is you can't get angry when you don't let them be to you who they know to be. And then we nurture them and build them up so that they can be. Mm-hmm. So I think that we dog men too often and that we don't really build them up enough. Because my husband, I always tell him, I said, babe, that was a good word. That was a good word. That was a good word today. Or I'll say, babe, I watch you with the kids at school. That was beautiful. Or I constantly tell my husband, I watch you with my kids. That you do with my kids what I always wanted from my father I never got. And I think that was another fear too. I didn't want to have a girl that I couldn't have a man build her up and express the fear of getting somebody outside of what their dad is, until I started to realize God had to teach me how to let go, and so that he can love me.
But I feel like it's twofold too. I think for a man it's the same thing, because now I'm also I'm also.
I got a question for you, Pastor. I see what you said.
So now it's twofold, because now at the same time you're thinking about it from a man's perspective. Is now okay. What is also, she has to bring something the same. You know what I mean? Like I need to feel that.
No,
nurturing.
we're not gonna bring the same thing.
No, not the same thing. Not the same thing. Oh my goodness, Lord. See, we just talked about this. We just talked about this. Because
I told my husband, I told my son, I want him to stay married, and I want him to stay married in a healthy marriage. You don't just want to stay married to be married. You want to be in something healthy. Okay, so if anybody tells you to go hook up and that you don't want something healthy, you want it healthy. I understand that.
I'm sorry. You don't have to uplift and lose yourself. That doesn't mean anything, because he should still be uplifting you too. Malika said there is conversation. I'm sorry. I'm watching conversation and trying to.
Y'all pray for me, because I ain't gonna lose my son.
Well, no, but you're not. You shouldn't have to lose yourself to compliment your spouse. It shouldn't be that way, because it doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That's not how a marriage or a relationship works. We should be on the same page. I love you, you love me, I uplift you, you uplift me, because if I'm trying to bring you down, how is this relationship going up? It doesn't make any sense. So you can still uplift your man, and he should be doing the same thing. So you shouldn't feel like you're losing yourself. You should feel like you're gaining with each other. You should feel like you're building and growing with each other. You know, so if you feel as though I'm losing myself because I'm uplifting my husband or my significant other, then I'm sorry, he gotta go. That's just that simple. He gotta go, because if you sitting there feeling like you're losing yourself,
that's why I'm telling you, women, you have to prepare yourself for marriage. Like anything, friendship, relationships, marriage. I still agree with.
I'm catching it as I go. I'm not. Malika, stop yelling at me. I feel like you're yelling at me.
Oh my goodness. What'd you say?
Oh no, because she says, okay, let me go back because she's yelling at me.
So we got you guys on Instagram, podcast, and we're all over.
You know what, Malika? I just gotta take the L. I'm gonna just take the L.
So this is the thing. I don't think that we have to lose ourselves if we understand who we are and why we're connected.
Guys on
Yes,
Instagram,
that's
I'm
good.
sorry, it's gonna have to cut short.
that's-
Please tune in to us on our podcast, like, share, subscribe. I will upload the link for you guys.
I'm
I love
sorry,
you.
they only do an hour
I'm
on
sorry, guys.
and we should be done in 1 minute. So for you guys that are on, please join us
Like, share,
on
comment,
YouTube,
and
like,
support.
share, comment. We will be reaching out to some of you guys so that you could come on. We would love for people to hear what you're saying. It's such a blessing when we people could get together and really hear one another and really learn from one another.
Yes.
And the truth is, we just don't learn because we don't talk. And I think that your voice, the whole purpose of the podcast is your voice is important. Your voice can influence our younger generation. It can influence one another.
Men, please log on and share.
We can do.
Share your opinions. We need you guys.
We can work with each other. Okay, so we gotta go because it's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Oh
Whoa.
my God!
Wow.
It says 1 up there.
The snow days took her out.
Took me out.
Took her out.
We already been on podcast for an hour. We don't want to weary you out. We are here tomorrow, same time, same station,
place,
same place.
same
So
faces,
even if you
same
don't get
smiles.
on, even if you're somewhere, please join us. Listen
And fellas,
to it.
please log in,
inbox
and we will
us.
have no problem. We need more fellas. I had a lot of
Inbox us,
conversation with
email
women
us.
today.
Inbox us, email us. Let us know your questions. Let us know your comments. People are replaying these broadcasts. We enjoy you. I enjoy you. No, let's end with this. Just do it. If you saw us, you will hear us saying, just do it. This is the time to step out. Write those books. Get those visions written. Write those songs. Somebody needs your voice. Somebody need to read your book. Nobody can tell your story like you could tell your story, and people grow. We are fitly joined together. Okay, love you guys. Until next time.
And I will tell her, Malika, I got
We
you.
are out.